Welcome to United Jews channel.
So do you think
And
we have systemic racism? Do you really?
exactly my question.
Yeah, I do.
I don't.
Can you please prove to us that you see systemic racism, because we don't see it? Maybe, I don't know. I don't see it.
All you need to do is look at statistics.
Again,
What statistics? Like what kind of?
Well, the statistics of income disparity for one.
Oh, let's talk about income. That's a great topic. Thank you for bringing it up. So you think income is, because of inequality in income, people should raise up and should demand from the government something. So you think it has nothing to do with people, right? It has to do with oppression that they're having. It has to do with government that oppresses them, right? Or who's wrong? Who's wrong in this situation?
Okay, so
who's to blame?
There was something that happened when slavery happened and people got separated from their families, their language, their culture. And then they were there's been a lot of abuse, to the point where it broke down people's ability to accumulate intergenerational wealth.
I know.
One thing that Jewish people have a lot of.
Yes, exactly.
Intergenerational wealth.
Exactly. Jewish people, for some reason, never do what BLM does. Can you tell me why? We were oppressed as well as Jews, so why don't we do that? Why don't we?
And again,
why would people with the most wealth take to the streets?
Why do we have the most wealth?
You tell me, Tatiana. I'd like to know if you understand that.
You know why? Because we had parents who cared about our education. That's our only privilege. Our parents cared about our education.
Let me ask you this. If everybody had the same amount of education, do you think that Jewish people would have the same amount of wealth? And
the wealth would be more equal if everybody cared about education. Yes. The world wealth would be.
So if there's a triangle, so there's a model that's a triangle with certain types of services at the top, like banking, lawyering, doctoring, high technology, these types of highest paying jobs, how could that, all of the other work that needs to be done, be distributed if everybody was trying to do the jobs that were the most high income jobs? It wouldn't work.
It would be a lot of competition, and Jews might not be at the top. There could be African Americans at the top. We don't know.
Why don't African Americans go to school more?
What? Because of their parents do not raise their kids give them love for education. That's the problem in the families. It's not the problem.
And the families are that way because of an intergenerational pattern that goes back to slavery. Because they did not have their parents sending them to Ivy League schools. Okay,
you know,
I mean, it's so obvious, and I can't believe that someone like Trump would sit up there and say there's no, or Pence would sit up there and say there's not institutionalized.
You know what? We're immigrants, okay? I'm an immigrant. I came as an adult to this country. I went to the university. I got my degree. I was working an office job. I did it. English is not my native language, as you can see. Why did I do it? The only reason why I did it is because my parents cared about education. And we started from nothing. We started from scratch in this country. We didn't have even a language. And why do you think I should feel pity for someone who was born in this country, got education in this country, had every single government agency helping them, and if only they wanted, they could get into the best schools. If only they wanted, they would be accepted before me or anybody else, only if they wanted to, but they don't want to. So what I'm saying is,
how do you know they don't want to? They might not like school.
It's whose problem is that? Mine? Am I guilty for them not liking school? That's what I'm trying to say. Too bad. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's problem of the family. It's not government's problem. It's a problem of a person. He doesn't like school or she doesn't like school. Why am I guilty for this? Why should I pay for this? I have nothing.
You shouldn't. I mean, me too. I mean,
I'm not standing on my knees for anybody. I didn't have nothing to do with slavery. My parents or grandparents or whatever ancestry had nothing to do with slavery, even though I look white. So what? I have nothing to do with anybody, any of this. Why should I feel guilty? Guilty of what?
Yeah,
What did I do?
I don't owe them a dime. I don't owe these people a dime, actually. Why would I pay for anything?
Yeah, and why would
Okay.
you care about children that are being sex trafficked in other countries? I mean, like
Oh, I care.
No, this has nothing to do with our conversation.
no,
Oh, I care.
I'm saying that problems of humans have to be that are widespread, that are structural, that are caused by historical patterns, have to be solved by not
Redistribution
have to be,
of
but
wealth?
can be addressed by international efforts to create equity
Well, international
due to the
efforts,
inequity
okay.
that happened.
Okay.
But in this country, what you're calling for is redistribution of wealth. You're calling to take
never
money
said
from
that.
the rich.
I
Well,
never-
that's what these people are calling for. They want reparations, right? That's what they're asking for. They're asking for money.
It's
From everybody.
always about
They're
money.
asking for money
Give
from
us
the people
money.
who have
We
them.
don't want to do anything. Give us money. We don't want to do anything. Just give us money. And they
And
will
there
be
was a
asking for
lot
money.
done.
And if you allow them, they will be always asking for money. The more money you give, the more money will ask. You'll never break this cycle. Do you really think the problem is with the money? If you give them enough money, do you really think there will be no more poverty? Do you really believe that money will solve the poverty issue?
Well, I believe in an innovative hybrid model that allows people to learn skills to be able to get out of cycles of poverty, like plumbing, like like becoming an electrician.
They can do it now. They can do it now.
Yeah, absolutely. People should be educated and trained, and that's what we've been talking about.
Yeah, but
There
Trump
was
doesn't
a lot
believe in
done for.
helping people get education. Biden does.
There was a lot of things done for Black education, as you know, over the years, the busing, the everything, and it didn't work. Largely.
In San Francisco, if you're in that community, you can actually get any school you want, any good school. I live in the Sunset District of San Francisco. My kids cannot get into the school in the Sunset. Someone who lives in Bayview has a priority to be in the school where I live. And that happens over and over for many, many years. My kids cannot go to school where I live. But if those people want to come to my schools, to where I live, please, they all can come. So that's how we redistribute everything. They have all the things they want. Just take them. They don't want to take. Okay, so that's what's happening. They don't want to take. And you think
everybody
if
has equal access to the welfare programs.
Well, what I'm saying to you is that you think that you can solve the issue with the money, and we're telling you.
I never said that. Did I say that?
You said you wanted to redistribute the wealth.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
No, I said it.
Okay,
I said it. I said
that there's innovative. So there's probably innovative programs that can design. I personally believe that our society is too difficult to navigate, where people have to have 3 jobs in order to have a little place to live. And I personally would like to see a lot more kind of eco cities that are simple, or eco villages where there's places for people that are just willing to put in a 7-hour hard day work and have a reasonable small little roof over their head and a place to shower and keep their things. And I think that is something that as a society we will be looking towards more and more as the rise of AI happens.
Okay.
So you think this will solve San Francisco's homeless problem?
I think every county should be mandated to put a basically probably like a 10-acre eco farm where people have to work in order to stay there. And it brings people off the streets and they can kind of function within their own little system, and they have their little place and they can get therapy and they can grow their own food. So they're not getting government assistance for food. They can grow their own animals, they can have orchards, and they can rise through, you know, participating.
I'm sorry, but I think this is
you're gonna have
utopia, I think.
Igor, do you want to say something?
Oh no, it's that model can work. You say
Krista,
it's utopia, but who's tried it?
okay, Krista, what do you think is morally right? There is a woman with a child who's on welfare system, and she gets Section 8, right? Housing Authority. How much do you think the government should spend on her to pay for her apartment? What kind of apartment should she live in if she has one child? A woman with one child. How much, do you think the government pays for her, and how many bedrooms do you think she should have with one child?
I don't think they do it by bedroom. They do it by amount.
Okay.
So what do? They do $1,500 a month or something.
Okay, let me tell you exact figures. A woman with one child qualifies right now in the city of San Francisco for the payment rent for her paid by the government in the amount of $3,400. She lives in a 2-bedroom apartment that she chose, that the government pays for her. $3,400. She lives alone with her child. And you know how many working people who hardly pay rent and they live in a crowded 2-bedroom with 3-4 kids because they can't afford more. And that's what's happening. So tell me about equality. So this is your equality. I'm telling you things because I personally know them. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that have Section 8, and that is not how much they're getting per month. I'm not sure how much it is in San Francisco, but
yeah, that's San Francisco. That's where you're leaning to, right? San Francisco is #1, right? The city of where you guys all want to be and follow. So that's what it is. $3,400 for a woman with her child. The government pays, and you want equality. Yes. Why would this woman work? Question.
Yeah, you're right. I never said that the system was perfect. You're making assumptions about me.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, but let me also set up things. So usually, why conversation and argument between left and right doesn't work, because on the right you come with practical issues and practical solution. On the left, it's ideas, and every idea in our head works. For example, your example that this environment where people work and they live and everything is kumbaya and nobody does drugs and suddenly they're all cured from all the bad things that they have and diseases. So the problem is that this was introduced and it was done, it was tried. For example, in San Francisco, in the beginning of COVID time, homeless with COVID positivity was placed in individual hotels. And you know what happened to them? Most of them are overdosed and died. The problem is when they did it on the street, somebody, not the first person, maybe not the second, but maybe third or fifth person tried and saw that this person is in trouble and they called 911. Unfortunately, when they were put in individual environment, in individual rooms, nobody saw them overdose.
Why are you? That's an individual right. If someone wants to overdose, I mean, that's your argument. If someone wants to overdose, let them overdose. Why is that the government's problem?
They don't want to overdose. Well,
they shouldn't be doing heroin then.
Why are they doing heroin? So because they're addicted.
Okay.
But if you put people from where you coming from to this environment where they live and work and everything is good, then some of them will have drugs and some of them have drug addiction. So you reduce yes, and how do you handle it in this perfect environment where everybody is perfect?
I never said everybody was perfect. I never said there weren't going to be problems. I never said there weren't going to be drugs. I said It's a way to not, your argument is it's too expensive to help people with welfare. And I'm saying this is a halfway step to being able to get people off of the streets, to make it look like we live in India, to actually, to give people something to, I mean, psychologically, people need a social system, you know, and they need something to evolve through. That's what makes people motivated in life, to that they can see that they can improve, right? Or they can have relationships, they can have, and
Don't
when
we have social system already? Social systems. We have all the social steps, and
no,
and
really,
we
not for a
all
homeless person.
yeah
They
yeah.
get
I
accepted.
mean,
I'm talking about
no,
social
no, I'm not.
acceptance.
No, I'm not asking do they work. I'm asking do we have them?
No, I
Do
don't
we
think
have
they do.
social security? Do we have welfare? Do we have food stamps? Do we have free education? Do we have all these things right now? And you know, you telling me that they don't work in the case of many communities, for example, color, you know, Black community and Hispanic community, they have not equal access. They have not, they didn't win their positive things from them, but they have them. They have them, they're available for everybody. Well, why don't they work? And when you say they don't work, you want to imply new a new social program on us. Oh, that will fix it. Well, why is previous program doesn't work for them?
Well, that's a really good question. There's probably 50% is my guess of people that are homeless by choice. And there's 50% of people that are homeless because of mental illness, because of hard luck, because of drug addiction. And so that model, it's, I mean, it's like Tatiana was saying, well, it's too expensive to give all these people welfare. Well, if all that many people are getting Section 8, why is there a huge population of homeless people living on the street? That doesn't really make sense to me. We don't even have, in Santa Cruz, we have like 100 beds for homeless people. We don't even have really the facilities to give homeless people a warehouse with a roof over their head. And a lot of people want to get out of that situation. The question to ask is, why can't they? Why don't they?
I think San Francisco had several programs for allowing people to work and kind of get on their feet. And most homeless people didn't even want to do it. You know, they tried, they just don't want it. You know, homeless people have lots of programs. There's tons of, probably thousands of nonprofits working for them. I don't know, hundreds for sure, but it doesn't work because, you know what? I believe, at least, I don't know what other people think. I believe that they need to be offered the choice. You either go clean up, or you go to a mental institution, or you go to jail. And if you don't want to clean up, this is your ticket to become a good citizen.
So what does cleaning up mean?
It means against your will, not against your will, because you will sign the papers. So you have three choices: mental institution, prison, or you get cleaned up. And we'll give you all the programs in the world you want to.
So when they're getting cleaned up, do they have a place to stay? And
Absolutely. But you give them three choices, because right now those choices are not given. If you either go clean up, or you go to jail, or you'll go to mental institution.
But what does the cleanup thing look like? Because
detox with rehab. Yes.
Yeah, I actually read somewhere that Florida handled this pretty well. They said you can only get financial aid, welfare, if you submit regular drug tests, negative drug tests. If you're negative with drugs, they'll pay for your food and they'll give you welfare and everything. If you don't, you get nothing.
That's actually a great solution, I think.
Yeah, there's other states. I know the experience of Utah. Utah eliminated homelessness. And I can answer why people don't want to get off the street. The main reason, because in San Francisco, I work in healthcare. Main reason why people do not want, and I have patients like that who do not want to get off the street. Main reason, because when everybody could get, I talked to captain of paramedics, and he truly told me that everybody who wants to get off the street, we will be able to place them. It was before COVID, it all changed probably. And the main reasons they don't want to get off the street because there's one condition under which they can be placed in those facilities in hotels or houses. And the main condition is you can't drink and you can't do drugs. And the people who are addicted, who want that, they refuse.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying let them have some little piece of land where they get to take care of themselves, provide all their own food, and it's super cheap for the government to pay for, and they can sit around and do nothing with their lives as long as they're providing their own food and they're not creating public hazards by being on the street.
It's fine. So you've given them the opportunity, and if they don't take it, it's their own fault, and they're back on the street, and things go bad for them, right? You gave them this wonderful collective farm.
Yeah,
and they went there.
40% of people choose to go there.
They didn't work. It didn't work for them. They did drugs, whatever, and they sort of drifted out, and they're back on the streets, and things go bad. I think it's the same thing with the education. You give people the opportunity. If they don't want to study, if their parents don't want to make them study, and they don't watch them like hawks, then they should not be surprised that their life outcomes will be bad. Why do you think Asians have some great life outcomes? Because they really care about their children's education. I know that, I've seen it.
They're obsessed with their children getting to the top tier of society as it is.
Correct. And no one gives them money, but they're still doing it. They're getting into good colleges and they're getting good jobs and they succeed in life.
Yeah,
it's
and
cultural.
That's largely because of the culture they were raised in. So, you know,
yeah. So there needs to be a cultural change.
Which is a cultural thing.
So yes,
yeah, that's what Tatiana said. Money
should change. African American culture should
exactly.
change.
Money will not solve the problem. Cultural change will solve the problem. And people like BLM, they go in exactly opposite direction. It's exactly 180 degrees.
Just because there's people at BLM calling for reparations doesn't mean that that's going to happen. And let's say, I mean, America's wealth was created on the backs of slavery. What is so bad about wanting to give back and give people an opportunity to? It's not forever. Just giving people some reparations to do what they want, buy it, you know, put a down payment on a house or whatever.
So you know what I think? I think you give it to one generation, and then in 5 years somebody will be born, and they will be saying, "Oh, my kid is born here. Give it the money to my kid. He was just born." And then another kid is born in 5 years. Again, give me another money. So when will this reparation stop? Tell me. Forever? We're gonna give for each kid forever money for just being descent of slavery?
People can already get welfare.
No, I'm saying the reparations. It's a one-time deal. In, let's say, 2021, we give everyone reparations. In 2022, if child is born in 2022, will we give money to this child? Because we already gave something in 2021. Will they give a child to 2022?
You think Biden is going? You're worried about Biden doing this?
I am not worried. I'm asking you what you think, because this is a false mentality to me. If you start giving money, you will not solve anything with money. You give money, half of the people who will get the money will never use them to the cause that you think they will use, because they will use it, they'll just spend for stupid things. You know why they will spend the money for stupid things? Because they didn't get education. They don't even know what to do with the money. That's the problem. You don't solve the money issues with money. You solve money issues with education.
That's fine. So have reparations be in the form of giving everybody, you know, I don't know, giving education or giving.
But they can get education for free already. If they're poor, if they're African American, they can get it for free already.
Yeah, Stanford will take them for free.
I wanted to call. You can listen. It's a debate. Versus, and they're all Russian Jewish people.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hi.
Yeah.
I'm gonna head to the market. You wanna grab you anything?
Okay.
I did it.
Yeah. So
Um,
Have fun, guys.
hi, bye.
Yeah, I hear you, but there's I mean, can you imagine being African American in this country? There's a lot. The psychological toll is big. It's big.
I know. That's why we need to work with African American families and tell them about the importance of education. We need to educate the parents about educating the kids and break this cycle of poverty.
You
And
don't think people are doing that in the schools now, Tatiana?
well, I don't know. Teachers know this. I don't know if the parents know and understand it. I don't know.
These cycles are hard. It's like asking Muslim people to stop, thinking down on women. I mean, I'm not
No,
equating.
it's not the same thing because it's not a religion.
It's a culture. Like what I'm saying is it takes time you can't just say tutor your kid in algebra. They don't know algebra.
Everybody goes to school. Everybody knows algebra. Everybody is exposed to algebra. Okay, whether everybody listens to the teacher or not, that's a different thing, but everybody is exposed to algebra. So the only difference between one kid and another kid is they listen to algebra, but one kid comes home and does homework and another kid comes home and doesn't do homework, and parents could care less if he or she does homework. That's the issue. The parents need to be educated. It's about parents. And I don't know, I don't know, most people know about this, but some people are surprised. I don't know why people are so surprised that the parents should check the homework for their kids. And if they don't understand what the homework is about, then they need to reach out to the teacher and say, hey, can someone help my kid? Can you make sure my kid does this? And be involved in your children's education. Just be involved. Really care about your child's education.
Well, good luck with that. I don't think you can make people do that.
Well, it's easier to give them money, huh? It's just easier to give them money. And think,
did I say to give? What I said is that I think that there's a way to do an affordable and innovative system where people can build their own village basically, and then people that don't really want to work and don't really have the proclivity to do advanced science and become engineers can go and have a normal life like humans used to do.
It's a good idea, but I think you are in a minority here. The majority of the people who are marching in the streets and looting shops, they don't want that.
Yes.
They want the handouts, is what they want.
They want money they want to take money from rich and give it to the poor. And we coming from Soviet Union already have seen that. This happened already to our culture. We know the consequences. And we don't want to see this again. We thought we came to a country which is the greatest country on earth. It has, people care about individualism. We came from this collectivism. We already came from this garbage and brainwashing. We don't want it anymore. And what we see now is countries headed to.
What is Biden?